Welcome to the podcast of the Coaches Next Door.
This is a podcast for self-coaching, for getting more insights about yourself, others, and the world in mind, body, emotions, behavior, patterns, and results.
Hi, welcome. Welcome to the podcast, The Coaches Next Door. And today, my proposal is basically to shake your world. Ta-da! Here I am. So I want to say to you that we have two beliefs that are totally unrealistic and unnecessary. So most part of us, we have these beliefs. We don't even know where they are coming from, but we have them. And they not only create a lot of bad stuff for us, like behaviors that we have, things that we say, but also they prevent us to get to the next level, to the level of freedom, I will say. And they are two. One of them is the belief that we can control stuff. And the second one is that random things happen. Like we do things without any intention, or the world does something without intention. That is the idea of coincidences. So these two beliefs, they are not only unrealistic, but they also prevent us to achieve new perspectives of world, but also new perspectives are for our own lives. Of course, we all already heard you don't control anything. Don't try to control it because you don't control anything. But tell me one person that really doesn't want to control something. They don't exist, right? We are, all of us, trying to control something. If it's not, I don't know, our own lives, but we are trying to control, for instance, most part of the times I'm trying to control that people don't, I don't know, come against me in my car. I'm really trying to control that. I'm doing my best. Until now worked. But most part of the times I'm really aware and trying to control that people or other cars don't bump me. Yeah? Or I'm trying to control that my agenda is a way of controlling my time, right? And I think some of us, we have that. So it's not, I don't know anyone that is not with the mindset of trying to control something. But I also know that all this that I'm doing to control is irrelevant. I'm going to give you an example, and I have a lot of them. One of these days, I had a full agenda, full of meetings, full of things to do. And my youngest son was, I run with him to the hospital. And we were at the hospital for 2 days. All my agenda disappeared, you know. The first day I didn't even realize what I was not going to. The second day I was able to tell people, hey, I'm not doing it because of this or this. My agenda was just disappeared. And all the things that were important, they were not important at all. So I know that even if I have an agenda, some things will destroy my agenda in seconds. Okay. So, and still I do an agenda, of course. So to make things more clear. But it's totally unreal that I think that making an agenda is guaranteeing that that thing will happen. And I'm not saying for you not to do an agenda. Don't I do an agenda and I say to you, do an agenda because it's good. But at the same time, is doing it with the awareness that in 1 second, that agenda can disappear. And of course, is the question then is like, how do I deal with that? What happens when something that I thought that was under control suddenly is not under control anymore? So I don't know even what is going to happen. And when that will be in control again, how do I deal with that? That is much more important. Because honestly, and you know that, I know that, everyone knows that, we are not in control of anything. Okay? So the superficial control that we have, and we do a lot of things to maintain that, is like that, is superficial. So what happens with me, and how can I deal with this superficial control disappearing? What happens with me? And I think that is the point that we need to explore. What happens when you realize that you don't have control over anything? And how are you able to see that as freedom instead of failure, or instead of a dramatic situation or a problem? How can we transform that in freedom? How can we transform the impossibility of controlling in a way of achieving freedom? This is the first thing. And then is with that things happen with, it's just a coincidence, or it's just a random thing that happened. The other day was really funny because a friend of mine changed the picture in Facebook, and it was a very different picture from the one that she had before. And I said to her, "Hey, why did you change? What made you change the picture?" And she said, "Oh, I just changed it." And of course, 1 second later, she said to me, "Oh, you really want to know the reason?" And I said, "Of course." And I said, "I don't know. I need to think about it." She didn't know what was the reason, but I know that no one does things randomly. So no one changes, I don't know, the profile picture just because, it's a motive, it's an intention with that. And one of the things is that when we are able to establish a connection between these 2 points, when we say, okay, if I don't do things randomly, if I do things always with a purpose and with an intention to satisfy my intentions or my needs, call it whatever fits you, can I be more conscious about the decisions that I take? Can I establish a kind of a control, not by controlling the circumstances or the end result, but can I control the decisions that I take? Can I amplify my capacity of decision? And I will say you can. You can get more aware and more conscious about the things that you do. And then you can also get more notion about the consequences of that decision. Of course, you will never be able to measure or at least to anticipate all the consequences. But you can already create a big range of possible consequences for the decisions that you took. And this is freedom. Freedom of taking your own decisions and being willing to accept the consequences of your decisions. That is the ultimate freedom, is you deciding, is you saying, this is what I want to be doing. And I'm willing, because this is what I want to be doing, I'm willing to accept all the consequences possible with this decision. And this is freedom. The freedom of saying, I was the one doing it. And this is accepting that you are not doing anything randomly, is realizing that the small decisions that you take, you are doing it. The small things that happens to you, you are doing it. And still you are not controlling anything. Because again, you can anticipate a range of consequences, but you don't know exactly which one will be, or can be even a mix of consequences, right? So you are not controlling the end result, but you are controlling your own decision. And that is power. That is saying, I was the one creating this chain. I was the one creating this route. I was the one creating this path. So the belief that you are not controlling, but you are deciding. And that for me, and also by my experience with the coaching that I do for many years now, I can tell you that this is a huge change. So it's not about, I'm not controlling. It's not about that. I'm not focusing myself on the end result. I'm focusing myself on the decision that I want to make. And this is the idea that you are always aware of what you are doing. I'm going to give an example. Sometimes when I'm doing coaching with my clients, they are talking, they are saying things, and I say, let me just ask you one thing. Why every time that you talk about your boss, you do this? And the person says to me, I don't do that. And I said, yes, you do. And the person continues like, no, I don't. And I said, yes, you do. And I said, okay, the next time that you do it, I will call your attention. So in that sense, at that moment, I know more about that person that she knows about herself. And that is the reality for most part of us. Most part of us, other people, if they can observe us, they will know more about us than we know about ourselves. Why? Because we are not paying attention. And we are not paying attention to these small decisions. Yeah? We are thinking that if I do this, or no, maybe I had something here, is that we are believing that whatever we are doing is randomly. So we are doing, just because happens sometimes, something outside. And of course can also be, but a lot of the information that you are passing is not randomly. And you are communicating all the time. And you are communicating sometimes even decisions that are not in your conscious. I'm going to give another example. This one was many years ago. And I got at that time, was really, I don't know, maybe 11, 12 years ago. And I was really fascinated at that time because I was walking with a friend and we were walking in the city. And then we passed some places with magazines and we met. And the first thing that she says to me, she said, oh, you know what? Maybe, I don't know if you know, X and Y, they are going to get a divorce. And I said, oh, well, I didn't know. Oh, okay. I hope they find a way to do it in a good way. Then we are walking and she said, oh, look, this person is also was in a magazine. Oh, this person also is going to get a divorce. Oh my God. And so I start getting suspicious, And then we passed and she said something else. And then we stopped and I said, hey, do you have something to say to me? And she said, no. And I was like, okay. So we continue and we continue our conversation. We continue talking about other stuff. And then I sit down, my clock, you're gone. And then we stopped and we were sitting and I said to her, hey, how are you doing? And I was really serious about it. Okay. And I said, how are you doing? And she said, I'm not good. And I said, okay, let's talk about that. And I realized that she had a decision that she was not even herself aware that was, running. And that information was running. And the information was divorce, divorce, divorce. And that was running. And she was finding other places that was legitimate to do that. You know what I mean? And then we had a conversation and that didn't happen because she got the awareness of what was running there. So every time, and of course, can sound a little bit of exaggeration. And I'm not proposing that you think about everything that you see and everything that you say that has a meaning. But pay attention on the repetition. Pay attention on the things that you are always thinking. Pay attention to the things that you are always doing. Pay attention to the things that you are always creating also with your system, because probably they are already something. And you cannot control that process. You can just get a decision. You can take a decision about it, but you cannot control it. I hope this is clear. If not, you know what to do. Send me a message. I will for sure reply. Take care of yourself. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for listening. The Coaches Next Door. And follow up. We have new episodes coming in. And every month you have a new episode that you can listen to. And remember, you can always share these episodes with someone that you think that could be a benefit or could feel a benefit from these episodes. And we will really like to receive also your comments and your questions. And if you want me to talk about something in particular that will fit you or your needs or your curiosities, please reach out by email, by a message, by a comment. I'm pretty sure you will find your way. Thank you so much, and we hear each other. Take care.